and then clearing skies overnight. We're going to wake up on your Thursday with temperatures around the 70-degree mark. We're going to talk about how long the sunshine is going to stick around, and of course we're going to have the latest on now Hurricane Dorian and if it could eventually impact us coming up.
We lose more airmen to suicide than any other single enemy, even more than combat. 78 of our brothers and sisters have given up on life this year alone.
Suicide among active duty service members and veterans continues to be a critical issue. The Department of Defense now taking a three-part approach to help save lives.
From active duty to veterans, suicide prevention remains one of the most pressing issues for the Department of Defense.
We know that suicide is complex. It's an interaction of a variety of factors, from environmental to biological to social to psychological, and there is no one fix.
At a suicide prevention conference this week, the director of the DoD's Suicide Prevention Office offering this assessment.
I stand here today disheartened that the trends are not going in the right direction for our military community. We must do better. We have much more progress to make.
The military is looking to the civilian world, piloting programs that have worked there for suicide prevention. They're also changing the way they track suicides. This year, publishing the first ever annual report.
Annual suicide counts and rates for our service members, as well as this will be the first time that we publish suicide statistics on our military family members. This is an important step forward.
The hope is that better data can help identify trends and get help to those who need it before it's too late.
If you or someone you love is struggling, military or civilian, there is 24/7 help available. Just call the number on your screen, 1-800-273-8255.
A top Lowe's executive is apologizing for a comment he made about Hispanic people. Joe McFarland, the company's executive vice president of stores, said in a video broadcast that a type of power drill was perfect for Hispanic workers because they have smaller hands. Employees from around the country began airing their concerns about the video on online forums. Yesterday, McFarland called his comments careless and ignorant. He says he will spend time in the coming days and weeks to learn from this experience.
We are learning more about the theft of the so-called crown jewel of Google. Investigators say Anthony Lewandowski downloaded more than 14,000 files from Google before he left the company in 2015. That included information about Google's self-driving car program called Project Chauffeur. He then went to work with Uber, another company working on self-driving technology. If he is found guilty of stealing Google's trade secrets, Lewandowski will face 10 years in prison, plus hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential fines.
It is happening in states across the country. The CDC is looking into nearly 200 cases of severe lung disease that may be tied to the use of e-cigarettes. And now, the head of Juul, the top-selling e-cigarette company, is responding to that growing number of cases. Hillary Lane has the story.
As the number of cases of lung illness among people who vape continues to grow, the head of the most popular e-cigarette company calls the reports worrisome.
Worrisome for the category, worrisome for us.
In his first broadcast interview, Juul Lab CEO Kevin Burns tells CBS This Morning's Tony DeCopel the company is in contact with the CDC.
If there was any indication that there was an adverse health condition related to our product, I think we'd take very swift action associated with it.
The CDC says it's looking into nearly 200 possible cases of severe lung disease that may be tied to the use of e-cigarettes. The cases are reported in at least 22 states.
Vaping is promoted as a safer alternative when in reality it's not.
20-year-old Alexander Mitchell of Utah used to vape daily. He developed acute respiratory syndrome last month and ended up on life support.
I'm at 25% diminished lung capacity now. I think it's crazy how fast it escalated.
Dr. Jacob Caslow of Vanderbilt's Children's Hospital says the number of cases he's seen related to vaping is frightening.
Some as benign as coughing, headaches, shortness of breath, but others more serious with lung collapse, respiratory failure, need for mechanical ventilation, and some of those more severe things.
And a new study in JAMA finds a growing number of middle school and high school students, about a third, are exposed to secondhand e-cigarette aerosols from being around people who vape. Hillary Lane, CBS News, New York.
Tony DeCopa will have much more of his interview with Juul Labs CEO Kevin Burns tomorrow on CBS This Morning.
She took some swipes here, swipe on my chest.
It was a fight for survival after a mama bear and her cubs break into a couple's home, attacking the man inside. What his wife did in order to save his life.
Get ready for school, cause it's everywhere. If you take a good whiff, it's all in the air.
Making learning exciting, how one teacher is using music to get his students to achieve higher test scores.